You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I'm back. Rudrance for our Black and White Sports 2. We're going to talk about the Carolina Panthers and the Arizona Cardinals. First of all, I love the hire in Carolina. I do. I thought Frank Reich was unjustly fired in Indianapolis. He went 40-33-1, 1-2 in the playoffs. Took that job with the understanding he would have Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck prematurely retired. And go back and look at the list of quarterbacks he got handed, and then look at the record. There was a 10-6 in there and 11-5 in there. And I think Frank Reich's a really good offensive coach. All right, but he got sabotaged, in my opinion, by Jim Irsay. Jim Irsay, quite frankly, wanted to bring in Jeff Saturday. Now, for the record, far as who Jim Irsay wants to hire, I've got no problems with the fact that he wants to hire Jeff Saturday. I don't have a problem with that. And I'm going to tell you why. He owns the team. He should be able to hire whoever in the hell he feels like it. If he wants to hire me as the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, I would tell him, you know what? That's a massive mistake. Because I don't know shit about running an NFL team. But I'll take the job. I'll take the job, okay? But the point is, it's his team, and he should be able to hire whoever he wants to. Now, Steve Wilks is pissed. He went 6-6, and yes, the Carolina Panthers were led back in the playoff contention. In the worst division in football. Okay? He didn't go 10-2. He didn't go 9-3. All right? He didn't go 8-4. He went 6-6. He's 9-19 as an NFL head coach. Keep in mind, Steve Wilks is suing the Cardinals for racial discrimination. He's part of the Brian Flores lawsuit. And now this is affecting the Cardinals. Further, this hiring. Keep in mind, Frank Reich was the first starting quarterback in the history of the Carolina Panthers. I don't know if a lot of people realize that. He's got a house out there. He already had a house out there. His daughter works for the organization. But Steve Wilks is still, and judging by the wording by his attorney, the Carolina Panthers are about to get added to this racial lawsuit. And I find this, it's just disgusting. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's the lowest hanging fruit. This whole lawsuit is lazy. Brian Flores would already be a head coach again if he wasn't suing what seems like half of the NFL. I believe he would have gotten hired. It's my understanding he was in the running for the Cardinals job. Now it's leaking out that if the Cardinals don't hire him, then they will be added to the lawsuit by Brian Flores. That literally, if a coach is hired that Brian Flores doesn't consider to be his equal or better, a.k.a. Sean Payton, that's the thing leaking out right now. It's either Sean Payton from the Cardinals or Brian Flores. And if it's not Flores and it's not Payton, then Flores is going to add the Cardinals to the lawsuit. That is a possibility. So now you are just blatantly saying, I should get this job because I'm black. That's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. I'm floored by this. But this is where we're at, folks. Everything is about race now. Despite the impressive work as the Panthers' interim head coach, Steve Wilks was not chosen to be Carolina's permanent coach. The job instead went to Frank Reich, who was fired by the Colts 9 games in the 2022 season. Attorney Douglas Wigdor, who represents Wilks in the Brian Flores pending racial discrimination case against the NFL, issued a statement after the Panthers announced the hiring of Wright. Quote, "We are shocked and disturbed after the incredible job Coach Wilks did as interim coach, including bringing the team back into playoff contention and garnering support of the players and the fans, that he was passed over for the head coach position by Dave Tepper. There is a legitimate race problem in the NFL, and we can assure you that we will have more to say in the coming days. What does that tell you? Look at this. Statement from Steve Wilks' lawyer, this is from Florio, is also a warning to the Cardinals on Brian Flores. Are you kidding me? So now we're gonna blackmail the Cardinals into hiring Brian Flores? Because if you don't, we're gonna add you to the lawsuit in Brian Flores. You're gonna be part of the lawsuit on behalf of Brian Flores now. The Cardinals are already getting sued by Steve Wilks. Okay? Which if I was an NFL team, if I would have been David Tepper, because Steve Wilks was involved in this racial lawsuit, he wouldn't have gotten his interim job. Why? Because of exactly what's going on now. If a team interviews one of these players and they don't get the job, now they're getting screwed and called racist. At what point does it become coercion and blackmail? Hire us or we're putting you in a racial lawsuit. Oh, by the way, if you do hire us and we're at any point fired, then you're going to be also added to the lawsuit, because you know that's what's going to happen. Wigdor, who represents former Panthers interim coach Steve Wilks, reacted sharply to the news that Panthers had passed over Wilks for Frank Reich. Okay, I just read that statement. The statement comes at a time when the primary plaintiff in the lawsuit Wilks has joined, Brian Flores, is under consideration for the head coaching job in Arizona. Wilks has sued the Cardinals for firing him after 1 year. Wilks likely will be suing the Panthers, given the content of Wigdor's statement, and Flores joined the Texans to the litigation last year after they interviewed him for a head coaching job, made him one of the 3 finalists, and eventually off the board and hired another black man, Lovie Smith. Flores didn't get the Texans job last year and put him in the lawsuit. The argument that Flores made against the Texans, that Wilks likely will make against the Panthers, and that Flores would potentially make against the Cardinals is a simple one. The decision not to hire them was motivated in part, in whole, or in part by the fact that they attempted to pursue their rights under federal anti-discrimination laws. Oh, man. By interviewing Flores, the Cardinals have made it hard not to hire him. Now, Florio's a lawyer. I don't know how Florio considers this to be okay. Unless the person they hire is clearly and obviously more accomplished than Flores, they would be inviting a claim for Flores for retaliation. Basically, that means they need to hire Sean Payton, who interviewed for the job on Thursday, or Flores. But at least the Cardinals gave Flores an interview. The Texans didn't, even though he was a finalist last year. The Broncos didn't. They're one of the teams Flores sued, alleging a sham interview in the process that resulted in the hiring of Vic Fangio. By the way, another coach I think that got prematurely fired. Neither the Colts nor the Panthers interviewed Flores either, putting them at risk for a retaliation claim. The Cardinals can do the NFL and all teams a favor by hiring Flores. The Cardinals are also maybe doing themselves a favor from a football standpoint by hiring him, since he could be exactly what the organization currently needs. Congratulations, Arizona Cardinal fans. You might not get the best coaching candidate as your coach, because the Arizona Cardinals may have to hire Flores to avoid getting sued by Flores and to hook the NFL up Yeah, boy. Hook the NFL up to kill the lawsuit. I don't know how anybody thinks that's okay. These teams are owned by owners. They should be able to hire whoever they feel is best for the job. I mean, look, NFL owners are going to hire the wrong coaches. Nathaniel Hackett got a job. That's a thing. And honestly, Steve Wilks would have been my next person I would have exampled. Steve Wilks got a job. Vance Joseph got a job in the NFL. You know, I mean, there's been some horrible coaching hires. Matt Rule got a job. Joe Judge got a job. Jeff Saturday may get a job. It's crazy. This is so lazy. And I cannot believe that Steve Wilks and Brian Flores don't have any more integrity and belief in themselves as coaches, that they feel they have to enter into a lawsuit and what looks like may start blackmailing teams. In my opinion, that's what it looks like. Hire us or you're sued. How is that okay? Wow. Congratulations. And Carolina may get sued by Brian Flores now because they didn't interview him. The Colts too. What a joke. What an absolute joke. By the way, what kills me about all of this, again, if Brian Flores was not suing the NFL or any team in the league, it's my belief he would have been a head coach last year and at the bare minimum this year. But you're suing so many parties in the league. It's honestly, I swear to God, I think if Brian Flores was not suing the Broncos, he would have gotten a Broncos job. Or he would have gotten a Texans job last year if there was no lawsuit. Because look, in the same way that I'm telling you I think Frank Reich got prematurely fired, I think Brian Flores got prematurely fired in Miami. That doesn't mean Stephen Ross doesn't have the right to fire him if he wants, because that's his team. Brian Flores could have went out there and in 3 seasons went 10-6 3 seasons in a row. And Stephen Ross has the right to fire him. I mean, he could have went out there and went 14-2 3 years in a row. And he could have fired him. It's his team. Nobody's saying it's a good football move. Although, judging by McDaniel in Miami, I think it looks at least break even. Wow, it's crazy. And I guess Sean Payton is still going to take a couple of interviews. But word has it, he's going to go back to Fox. That's what NFL Network reported. I did that video. And he has denied that he has any problems with Broncos ownership. That got out there. Nobody knows what he's going to do at this point. Tell me what you think, Black and White Sports 2 supporters. This is nuts. Absolutely crazy. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.